Welcome to the Engage XR presentation. You've heard about Facebook's recently announced plans to build a metaverse, but Engage is already well down this road. Its software platform, Engage, is being used for creating, sharing, and delivering virtual reality content for communication, training, and online events for major blue-chip companies. And next year, it's launching its own metaverse aimed at enterprises, described as a LinkedIn of the metaverse. Let me hand you over to David Whelan, CEO, who will tell us more.
Hello, welcome to Engage, everybody. My name is David. I'm the CEO of Engage XR Holdings, and I'm joined here by Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so in this short presentation, we're going to talk about what the metaverse is, but instead of just giving you a boring presentation, we're actually going to show you a lot of these things. So we're just going to quickly go through some slides, and then we'll get on with the actual demonstration of the product. So Chris, if you can go to the next slide there, please. So we're going to talk about what is the metaverse. Then we're actually going to show you a short trailer of Engage, and we have a code named Engage Oasis for our own version of the metaverse. We're going to talk a little bit about other metaverse examples out there, what Meta are doing, Facebook, and what Epic Games are doing. We're going to talk about our target audiences, and we're also going to show you some examples, as I said earlier. So, yeah, if you want to go to the next page, Chris, maybe, and talk a little bit about metaverse.
Yeah. So the metaverse is not actually a new concept, right? It was first talked about in Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. And this is something that just hasn't happened overnight. This is an evolution of technology that has been happening over the past number of years. And finally, we have this convergence of technology, which now makes it possible for us not only to view the web, but also step inside the web in a spatial 3D way. A lot of people compare the metaverse to what we talked about in the Matrix. Everybody knows what the Matrix is. In a way, the metaverse is kind of like stepping into the Matrix. It is a place where we can socialize, interact in virtual environments, literally teleporting ourselves into a place where we can manipulate the environment and interact with each other, very similar to what David and I are doing right now.
Yeah, so if we talk about the evolution of the web, so web version 1.0, that was e-commerce and desktop browsers, so when, say, America Online came out, or Netscape, and the internet was just really starting to take off, but it started really getting busy when social media came along. So Web 2.0, Facebook, Airbnb, Uber, that's really when large-scale adoption started happening for the internet and web, when people are doing business and work and collaborating and socializing more and more. But now Web 3.0, this is what we're talking about, which is where the metaverse is going. So instead of just having a 2D representation for your company, you're having a 3D representation. So Facebook Meta just recently announced, they announced that they're changing their name to Meta, but very soon in the future, instead of having a Facebook page, what you will have is a Facebook room where your galleries are actually physical galleries up on a 3D wall. And you'll be able to interact, and communicating with your friends and family won't be just IMing each other. It'll be like me and Chris here, where you'll invite your friends and family over and you can physically have a conversation with them. There you go, high five. So Web 3.0 is going to be very collaborative and very, very spatial, and we're really focused on the business application of the metaverse. So yeah, Chris, we can go to the next page. So what we're going to show you now is a short trailer for the Engage Oasis, what we've codenamed Engage Oasis.
In our short history, the Engage platform has become a trusted partner to some of the world's biggest brands and organizations. Having recently signed its 100th commercial client, Engage is rapidly becoming a leader in XR events and communications. We are about to embark on a new journey, one where businesses connect directly with their employees, their customers, and with one another. A journey where the impossible is made possible. A metaverse where business is mixed with pleasure and controlled by the professionals who utilize the platform. Welcome to the evolution of Engage. Welcome to Engage Oasis. Explore vast, persistent locations branded for your organization. Or communicate in more personal spaces, host developer conferences, or provide unique product launches. Build your own personal space and invite work colleagues and friends over. Furnish your space using in-world items or upload your own 3D objects or purchase new items via the marketplace. Utilize always-on spatial locations for employee training and group meetings. Register for your own virtual segment and connect with businesses, educational institutions, and professionals from all around the world. Secure NFT support for unique digital assets and locations, providing a robust ecosystem for creatives to work directly with corporations. All the collaboration tools you would expect. Import and build with your own 3D models, or use the built-in editor to build something truly special.
Okay, so that was our vision for the metaverse, which is very business and enterprise orientated. You would have seen a few weeks ago, Meta had their announcement, and this is an image from their metaverse, which is called Facebook Horizons. It's a very stylized world. This is another one, Fortnite from Epic Games. It's actually based on a video game, a very, very popular video game with a lot of kids in there, and they attend concerts. And another one you're going to see here now in a moment is Roblox. Again, based on a video game for kids, but they're really expanding their tools and allowing their community to build their own virtual worlds. So all of these metaverses that you can see here, VR Chat, Allspace, Minecraft, very much focused on a younger audience, all collaborating. So if those guys are the Twitch and the TikTok and the YouTube of the metaverse, really Engage is aimed to be the LinkedIn of the metaverse, which is going to be a professional location for professional use cases and for real business to be done virtually. So how is this going to work? So the Engage Metaverse is a networked environment, and it's networked via portals, which are types of bridges. So we have a central plaza location, which is going to be linked to different plazas like the Education Plaza, Enterprise Plaza, and Creative Plaza. And then the organizations can actually build their own versions, their own meta worlds. And actually, here's some meta world examples here. So at the top there, you can see we have HTC Vive. And then we have Accenture, 3M, Facebook, actually our client of ours as well, and BMW. So these are just some example locations that we have inside. And actually, these are some of the other companies that we've been working with over the past year, year and a half, who are all on the Engage platform today. So there's some pretty big names there. And what is our revenue model? So the way that we generate revenue today on the Engage platform is that we sell subscriptions. So these are enterprise accounts, which will allow your organization to come in and hold private events, private meetings, and also provide onboarding content. There's also content subscriptions where we have third-party suppliers in here creating content, and people can subscribe to that. And there's also lots of major events that happen inside Engage on a very regular basis. We've held events for HTC, held events for the European Commission, and we've held events for HP as an example. But the future revenue is going to be generated by marketplace purchases, where our users can actually sell items, 3D items to each other, digital real estate, and NFTs as well. So really very much the future of the platform is the metaverse offering, which is Oasis. So we're actually going to show you a use case now, which is 3M. So to go to the 3M world, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring up a portal, which is quite easy. We're going to go to 3M world. Okay, you should see a portal there next to me. So Chris, if you want to go through that portal first. And this is one of the great things about virtual reality. You can be anywhere. Walking into the wall. Do you want to maybe talk about this place? You know, maybe explain what it is, and we'll only just go to the first one, 2020, and open up the tree that's down there.
Okay, this is actually my first time in this space, David.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
This looks awesome, though. But this is what 3M is actually building their 3M world, right?
Yeah, this is one of the locations that 3M have built. So this is actually an onboarding experience. And we'll actually walk down to the trees now in a moment, but each tree is a different year, and it's the goals, company goals. And what they'll do is they'll bring in their employees in here, and they'll walk them through in groups of like 50 or 70 people, their new employees, to make them feel more included. So that's exactly what this location is for. So let's take a stroll down to 2020 down there. So it's quite easy. You can actually walk with the controller, or you can teleport. And you can see this is actually a very virtual kind of looking place. But if we just go over to 2020 as an example. So these are like some company goals and company visions. So if I click on the tree, you can actually see that these photos have popped up here, you know, so it just has some details about the business.
It's great.
Cool. Yeah, especially when you're in here networked with loads of people. And one of the great things, well, maybe you can talk about spatial audio, Chris.
Yeah, spatial audio is fantastic. What that allows you to do, just like in the real world, depending on how close I am to the person, determines the volume of the audio. So you can break into focus groups in the same environment and not overtalk with each other. Makes it just like the real world.
Yeah. So what we're going to show next is actually, I'm going to show you a video of 3M World. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up that trailer now.
Physical connection is essential. Smiles are essential. Hugs are essential. This is the human touch. In the real world, not everything is possible. With 3M Home, anything is possible. This is a journey in the past and in the future. Imagine the infinite possibilities, taking you exactly where you need to be. Because we'll continue to meet in person, and we'll enter this new world together. Today, the possibilities are endless. This is 3M Home.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video, and now Chris is going to demonstrate some of the other cool features on Engage, which our clients are using on a daily basis.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the great features about Engage is this ability to bring in any custom content that you want. You can bring in 3D items and manipulate those very easily. You don't need to know coding or anything to be able to do this. I can simply pull up my tablet, reach in, and, for example, pull in this beautiful teapot here. This is actually from Japan. It's an old teapot brought in from a museum. It's been scanned, and this is exactly what it looks like in the physical world. And I can actually share that and hand that to David. He can take that from me, scale it up, put it where he wants. You could even make that the size of a house if you wanted, David. So that's just one way of manipulating 3D objects. David has also been showing you that we can share media, video screens, and things like that. We have a great feature called a chroma key screen. Let me pull that up for us here. And what this allows you to do is, you know, we're here speaking to you in avatar form, but we can actually bring people in as though they're a hologram from the real world. Let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to bring in my chroma key. You can't see it because it's invisible, but once I start playing content on it, you'll see us appear as a hologram. Watch this. Here we go. And you can store all of your videos on a web app, so it makes it very easily accessible on your menu. And here we go. Here's an example of a speaker.
Welcome
in as a hologram.
We are really excited to have you here. 2020 has been a very challenging year, but an incredibly rewarding year. It's proven that.
So that's one example. We also have these great features on the back of a wrist for collaboration where I can simply just touch a 3D pen, for example, and just start drawing in the air. I can even convert that into a 3D object and manipulate it, put it up in the sky wherever I want it. I can also type, I'm from Salt Lake City. I can also type, pull up a sticky note and just type in here, hi from SLC. And enter. There we go. So lots of collaboration options in here.
Okay.
All right, and we also have whiteboards on the back of our hand as well. You just tap that. These are multi-user whiteboards. You simply reach in, grab the pen, pick the color you want to write in. I'll pick red, and there you go.
Okay, I'll give that a go myself, Chris.
That easy.
Just to show you, and I go yellow. Cool. Cool. Excellent.
And then, of course, we do have the recording feature, which is really special for Engage, where you can actually record everything in 3D, whether it's a class or a meeting or you're putting on a show. You can record it all, rewind time, and step back into that experience as though you were there in the original experience. Walk around in 3D, walk around the other people. It really is like stepping back in time.
Cool. Okay, I think that'll do us, Chris.
All right.
All right, cool. Okay, guys, thanks for watching this small little demonstration. I'm going to log off here now. We're going to log in on video, and I'm going to be met by Seamus, our CFO. Thanks, Chris. Bye now.
Great. Thanks, David. Take care.
Okay, hello everybody. This is the real version of me. You might have seen my avatar looks a lot skinnier than I look now. That's my pre-COVID avatar. I've put on a few pounds since I've been working at home the last 2 years, but I'm here with Seamus, our CFO, who's going to talk briefly about some of the numbers which have been released already.
Hi folks, nice to meet you all. I'm just going to run through some of our interim figures that we released in the back end of September. We've had an extremely successful period to date. Our revenue for the first half of the year was 1.25 million, which is up 83% on the prior year. Obviously, our main focus within the company is Engage, and we're hugely excited about the new Metaverse coming in the new year. But our existing Engage revenue grew by over 300% period on period, up to 905,000, and it now represents over 70% of total group revenue. The revenue that we've generated to the 30th of June represents over 150% of the total revenue generated in the full year 2020. We've also seen a 10% increase in our gross profit margin period on period, from 70% in the first half of 2020 to 80% in the first half of 2021. And this is primarily due to the greater Engage revenue contribution. Our EBITDA loss has widened slightly period on period, from just shy of 900,000 to just in excess of 950,000. And we have a very strong cash position at the end of June of 9.2 million, reflecting the oversubscribed successful raise in the back end of the first half of the year. As you can see below, you can see our revenue split now is 72% engaged to 28% non-engage, which is a significant uplift on the previous year and shows the focus of the company shifting away from showcase experiences such as Apollo 11 and Shuttle Commander to where the huge opportunities for growth are within the Engage platform and the Engage Oasis going forward. I'm just going to take you through a couple of other metrics that we reflect on internally and that we also have reported on previously. Obviously, total license numbers is a key metric for the company. We have, at the end of the first half of the year, 4,400 active licenses within the Engage platform. And as we stand here today, we're in excess of 5,500. That's significant growth period on period. Up to the end of June, that was 145% compound semi-annual growth. And we expect to see that to continue as time progresses. The nature of our revenue, though, is obviously very important. Recurring revenue is obviously an important metric for us. And in the first half of 2021, we consider 61% of our revenue to be recurring. That revenue is driven by license sales through our virtual office and virtual campus offerings. 19% of our revenue is through professional services. That would be custom development work, whereby a client may ask us to create something very specific within VR that we have the in-house capabilities to do. And then the balance of 20% of our revenue has come from one-off events. We had originally foreseen events to be a one-off revenue piece, but the success of our events has seen a number of large organizations come back for multiple events and taking annual event deals with us. So we're very excited about the opportunities that presents for 2022 onwards and into the metaverse. Our average contract size is also a key metric that we look at. 22% of our contracts are in excess of 25,000 euros, and that metric is growing. We're now up over 25% as we stand here today. And we expect to see that grow as renewals are coming in at a higher rate than the original contract, and also people are coming in for larger license deals from the outset. That's just a quick overview of where we were at the end of June. We will be doing a pre-close statement in mid-January 2022 to reflect our full year figures, and we'll give more colour on our metrics at that stage. We'd be happy now to take any questions that you may have.
So we do have some questions here, one of which is virtual communication has seen a big push during the pandemic. How has Engage benefited, and is this a trend that's here to stay?
Yeah, obviously it's had a huge effect on the business. So up until 2 months ago, we were known as Immersive VR Education, and we've completely changed our name to Engage EXR Holdings because we're doing more and more enterprise services and enterprise accounts, where we have these large organizations looking for better alternatives to large-scale video events, where they want their attendees to mix with each other, have those private hallway conversations. And that's something that really doesn't happen typically on video events, where if you attend an event with 1,000 people, you're just watching, PowerPoint after PowerPoint presentation. The only interaction is a text messaging system, where you might answer a question in the hope that someone will respond. The real reason people attend events is those off chance meetings. They go maybe talk to a sales rep or bump into somebody and they go, look, hey, what are you doing in your organization? And that's how business is really sparked. And that's something that we can offer that a lot of places can't at the moment. And then we upsell them obviously on, okay, you have all these remote teams. Are you looking for better ways to communicate for daily stand-ups? So it's been very beneficial for the company. It is here to stay. So even before COVID happened, there was certainly a push more for remote work, especially in the tech industry. There's a lot of tech companies now that are after announcing, like Twitter and Facebook, that the majority of their staff can now actually work fully remote from home, even when the pandemic is over. And currently today, there's over 1 in 4 people in America are actually working remote. And there's some estimates by 2025, that number will actually remain the same. So yes, when offices open, a lot of people will go back into offices, but they think by 2025, 2026, the numbers will actually get back to pandemic levels of remote work, so it is certainly here to stay, we feel.
And how do you get new companies to sign up?
So we've been very unusual, actually. We've spent very little on marketing. We've spent nearly zero on marketing to date, but that is going to change quite soon. It's all been word of mouth, people finding us. So quite often, if I use HTC as an example, so when the pandemic really kicked off, HTC were due to hold an event inside mainland China, and it was cancelled. This was back in March of last year, and they came to us and said, look, we've been using the Engage platform internally. Would you guys be able to host an event for us? And we said, sure, no problem. And it was the first major event. We had over 2,000 people concurrently logged in from all over the world, and these were some C-level executives as well that HTC invited in. So we had China Telecom, we had Qualcomm, we had NVIDIA inside, and they were all presenting. Their C-level executives were presenting, and they had such a good experience. Then it sparked up a relationship where we then started working with companies like that, on upselling them services and hosting their own events. And when they host their own events, they were inviting in other companies and other clients, and then that kind of got the ball rolling. And quite often they would publish like a small little video snippet on LinkedIn, which again would actually get inbound requests into us. And we're at a stage now where we're working pretty much at max capacity for onboarding and client events and additional services, and we're actually expanding the business development team, the after sales support team as well. So it's been a quite interesting journey, and we haven't had to spend anything on marketing. But again, as we're scaling up the team, we're going to be definitely pushing a lot more dollars in the marketing area, especially in the US, and Germany is a big market as well.
And you mentioned in the presentation about NFTs and a revenue stream from those. Could you explain what an NFT is and those revenue streams?
Yeah, so it's kind of the Wild West at the moment in regards to NFTs. So an NFT is any digital object. It can be any digital object, but it's unique. So when you convert that to an NFT on the blockchain, like Ethereum as an example, that's part of the blockchain. So you get a unique identifier. So as the owner of this file, I can do what I want with it. There's value to it, and I can sell it on. Now we are seeing a lot of value being generated for art NFTs, where Bipple is one where you have these 8-bit art, clip art installations, and they're selling for like 60 grand or 100 grand, some big money. I've seen a virtual apartment sell recently for $500,000, and I think like one of the largest NFT purchases was 65 million. So there is money to be made out there. We are definitely going to be supporting NFTs, but we are going to be doing it slightly differently. So Engage has a lot of capabilities for building and creating your own content. It's all digital and virtual, so we will be supporting NFTs in a way for our users, which we think is completely different from what anybody else is doing today.
And would the teapot in the presentation be an NFT?
It can be. It can be any digital object, so that's a 3D representation, and you can own the original version of that. People can look at copies of it, but you owned the original version of it. So there's a lot of opportunities there. Like we have some very big keynote speakers who use Engage, so we can turn performances into NFTs. We can turn digital locations into NFTs. We can turn digital objects into NFTs. It really is endless, but again, it is very much the Wild West at the moment.
And how does Engage Metaverse fit in with what Facebook and Microsoft are doing, and how will you compete?
It's very different. So if you talk to 5 people in the industry and ask them what the metaverse is, they will all give you a different answer of what they think the metaverse is. It's pretty much a virtual world. Metaverse, the term, it's really caught on and ignited because Roadblocks, some months back, they listed on the stock exchange in America, and they got a $40 billion valuation for being a metaverse company. And then obviously with Facebook changing their name to Meta, it's very, very up and common right now in investors' minds. The way the Facebook see the metaverse is that they want to be the dominant player, where they want millions or billions of users on their platform. It's starting off with, I think, a younger audience where they're all communicating, hanging out with friends, entertainment, that kind of area. But they have talked briefly about business applications and education applications as well. But they see it as like a huge monolith of their world, of their world building. Where I see the metaverse is very similar to the internet, where I see the metaverse as stage 3 of the internet, where each individual company or organization can actually build their own meta world, and they can control what happens inside. They can set a dress code if they want, they can give access to people to certain areas, and they can style it in any way that they see fit. Very similar to websites. So back in the early 90s, when AOL was trying to dominate the internet, where they wanted everything on the AOL platform, that didn't work because obviously organizations went down and they were doing their own thing. I do see that the metaverse is going to be a collection of organizations and companies who are all providing services to these companies who are building their own meta worlds and then interlinked via portals, either through their own websites or in other ways. So it's definitely going to be a crazy world in the future.
And privacy and security raises some concerns. I think you've got a ISO 27001 certification. Why is that so important?
So it's for businesses to do work on the metaverse, so I think our motto is going to be real business done virtually. And for businesses to use a service like Engage, they want a level of comfort there that, look, this isn't just a small startup, and they've built a load of these features very quickly, and they had, little disregard for, security and data collection. We are very much security minded and data minded, where when companies want to work with us, if they want to host their company sensitive data on their own internal servers, they can actually do that and still use the Engage platform as a private installation. They have the option to do that. I do think other companies out there who are building metaverses, they started as video games, and it's all about huge amounts of users on the platform. pretty often playing video games or shooting each other, like Fortnite, as an example, is another metaverse. I think those types of platforms are going to be a bit tougher for businesses to actually do business on if they want to have client-sensitive data on those platforms. They'll 100% use those platforms for advertising and brand outreach. We're seeing that already with fashion clients and some car manufacturers on these other platforms. But I do think if they want to bring client-sensitive data into the metaverse, they're probably not going to use those gaming platforms. They're going to use something that they can control and monitor themselves.
Can you say something about your major shareholders?
I'm the founder along with my wife, so we are probably the biggest shareholders, but we have HTC, who are also a shareholder. So I did talk about briefly that they held an event with us back last March, and even before the event was finished, they jumped on a call and said, look, we really want to invest in the company, and they took a 20% stake in the business. We have a lot of institutional backing in London. So we have Octopus, who are actually one of our largest investors. Unicorn are in there as well. Seamus, you might be able to list some of the other ones there.
Yeah, of course, Dave. Thanks. So yeah, as Dave mentioned, Octopus are one of our major institutional investors in the London markets. They hold 15% of the company. They came in on the IPO and followed on in our most recent funding round. Unicorn holds 6.5%. Again, one of our IPO backers, and also followed on in the recent round to hold our ground. In the last round, then we had two new institutional investors. Canaccord came in for 4.3% of the company, and then Vive PLC have a little over 3% of the company. So we've got quite strong institutional backing, coupled with the HTC endorsement within the marketplace. So our register is quite strong at the moment. And Dave and Sandra, as Dave mentioned, after the last round, combined own 27% of the company.
Thank you. And why is Engage XR so well positioned to take advantage of the market opportunity?
We're pioneers. We've been in this industry quite a while. We've been working on this for the past 5 years. Every startup that's out there right now, all of them are saying, we're a metaverse, give us loads of money. They're years behind where we are. We've seen this coming down the track 5 years ago. We listed on the stock exchange 3 years ago, and I was telling people, this is what's going to happen. And now it's finally happening. Facebook are really well involved in this. We know Apple are looking in this arena. Sony are looking in this arena as well. These are major companies pouring billions of dollars into this industry. And we've been sitting here, working away, getting a good client base. We even have Facebook as a client of ours. They use us for professional meetings and events, not their own platform currently. So I think we're very well positioned to really jump in this opportunity, because we have seen it coming from a ways off.
And you're competing against really big Goliaths. So how can you stand up against those?
I have the same feeling that Amazon was asked the same question years ago. Microsoft was asked the same question about IBM. Yahoo, Google were asked the same question about Yahoo back in the early days of the internet. Loads and loads of money and every resource in the world is not going to make the next billion-dollar company. It's the ideas and the people behind those ideas is what's going to really push things forward. I think we have the right idea for how the future is going to adapt to the metaverse, and that's what we're pushing forward with.
Tremendous, David. Thank you very much indeed. We look forward to the future, and Seamus, thank you very much too.